After sacrificing my career to support my wife's dreams, and believing we had the perfect marriage, I accidentally discovered she has been cheating on me with my younger brother in law, and the entire family has been covering it behind my back. I found out on a Tuesday, not from her, not from him, from a notification on our shared cloud storage that I'd set years ago, when we were still coordinating calendars and grocery lists like the functional adult couple I thought we were. The file was labeled Beach House Weekend. I was sitting in my home office, the one I'd built in our garage after I left my engineering position at Microsoft. The same office where I'd spent 3 years, consulting part-time so Sarah could focus on her architecture firm, without worrying about our mortgage. The same office where I'd celebrated with her over video calls, when she landed her first major commercial project. I clicked the file thinking it was photos from our anniversary trip last month. It wasn't. 37 photos. My wife, my brother-in-law Marcus, her sister Emma's husband, intimate, laughing, touching, kissing, in a beach house I didn't recognize, wearing clothes I'd never seen, looking at each other the way she used to look at me 12 years ago when we were grad students sharing ramen and dreams. I sat there for 40 minutes. Just staring. My hands went numb. My coffee went cold. Outside, a neighbor was mowing their lawn, and the sound felt obscene, like the world had no right to be that normal while mine was cracking apart. I called her. "Hey, I'm in a meeting, can I call back?" Her voice was bright. Professional. The same voice that told me she loved me every morning. The same voice that thanked me 6 months ago for being her rock when her firm almost went under and I dipped into my retirement fund to help with payroll. When we're at a beach house with Marcus, silence, not the confused kind, the caught kind. "David, we need to talk when I get home. We're talking now. Not like this." One Sarah. "When exactly we're planning to tell me been sleeping with sister's husband." I heard her breath catch. Heard someone in the background ask if she was okay. Heard her say everything was fine, she just needed a minute. "It's not what think." That's what she said. That's actually what came out of her mouth, like there was some version of those 37 photos that would make sense. Some angle I was missing. I hung. Then I did what any destroyed man does. I opened my laptop and started digging. The cloud account had been syncing for 8 months. 8 months of files I'd never looked at, because I trusted her. Because we were the couple other people envied. Because I'd given a 6-figure salary and stock options to support her dream. And that meant something. That was supposed to mean something. More photos, different locations, hotel receipts, screenshots of text conversations that made my stomach turn. "Can't wait to see Thursday. Told I have a site visit. Last night was incredible. I going home to him. Do think he knows. He seems suspicious lately, David. No. He's too busy being supportive. It's actually kind of sad. That one broke something in me I don't think will ever heal." Him she hated going home to was me. The man who'd meal prepped her lunches when she was too stressed to eat. Who'd rubbed her feet after 12-hour days. Who'd learned about architectural software just so we could talk about her projects. Who'd become a smaller version of himself so she could become more. I found the timeline. It started 2 years ago. At Emma and Marcus's wedding anniversary party. Sarah had come home tipsy, happy, talking about how beautiful their marriage was. How Marcus had given this toast about partnership and sacrifice that made everyone cry. Apparently, it made them do more than cry. 2 years. 730 days of looking me in the face. Of me asking how her day was. Of planning our future. Of me turning down job offers because we agreed Seattle was best for career right now. Of me telling my parents everything was great when they asked why I looked tired. 730 days of betrayal, wrapped in goodnight kisses and grocery store trips and discussions about refinancing our mortgage. I started checking our bank statements. Dinner charges at restaurants we'd never been to. Hotel stays during conferences. I'd helped her prepare presentations for purchases at boutique stores in neighborhoods across town. All on our account. Money I'd earned. Money I'd saved. Money I'd sacrificed career advancement to preserve. Funding her affair. Then I found the group chat. Sarah had left her iPad on the kitchen counter months ago, and I'd set it to sync with our home iCloud. I'd never checked it. Never had a reason to. Why would I? We were happy. We were solid. The chat was called Girls' weekend planning. Sarah, Emma, Air Mother Linda, and Sarah's best friend Jess. I scrolled back. Did David say anything? Emma, 6 months ago. No, he's clueless. I almost feel bad, Sarah. Can't keep doing this. It's going to pot. Jess. Mind business, Jess. Sarah knows what she's doing. Linda. Marcus feels the same way I do. We're going to figure it out, Sarah. What about David? He gave everything for Jess. That was his choice. I never asked him to. Sarah. I read that line 17 times. She never asked me to. Technically true. I'd volunteered. I'd seen her struggling to build her firm while we both worked demanding jobs, and I'd said, let me take a step back. Let me support. We're a team. And she'd cried. And she'd held me. And she'd said I was the most incredible man she'd ever known. Then she'd used my sacrifice as permission to destroy me. The messages continued. Mom, need to talk to her. This is going to both marriages. Emma, 4 months ago. Emma, stay out of it. They're adults. Linda, I'm not staying out of it. That's my husband. To Emma. And he's happier than he's been in years. Maybe that tells something. Sarah. Emma knew. My sister-in-law knew her husband was cheating on her with her own sister. And half the family was acting like it was some kind of romantic destiny, instead of a catastrophic betrayal. I checked the dates on Emma's messages. She'd found out 3 months ago. 3 months of family dinners, where she'd smiled at me across the table. 3 months of her bringing over casseroles when Sarah was working late. 3 months of her hugging me goodbye and saying, take care of David, with this look in her eyes I'd thought was just sisterly concern. It was pity. They all knew. Sarah's mother knew. Her father knew, based on a message Linda sent about talking to Robert about the situation. Sarah's brother knew. Family friends knew. The entire architecture firm probably knew because Jess worked there too. Everyone knew except the 2 people whose lives were being systematically dismantled. Me and Emma. And Emma had figured it out 3 months ago. Which meant I was the last one. I was the faithful, devoted, career-sacrificing husband who everyone looked at with sad eyes, because I was the only person still living in the fantasy. Sarah came home at 6:15. I was sitting at the kitchen table with my laptop open. All the evidence displayed. Photos, messages, bank statements. The complete archaeological dig of my humiliation. She stopped in the doorway. David, 2 years. I can explain. 2 years, Sarah. 24 months. While I was cooking dinner, and doing our taxes, and telling my former colleagues I was happy with my consulting work. While I was holding at night and planning our 10th anniversary trip. While I was being rock. She started crying. Real tears. The kind that used to make me drop everything. The kind that made me want to fix whatever was hurting her. I felt nothing. It just happened. For 2 years. It just happened for 730 consecutive days. We didn't mean for it to happen. Uploaded photos to our shared storage, Sarah. Documented it. Saved receipts. Texted mother about it. Discussed me in a group chat like I was some obstacle to work around. I never wanted to. That made me laugh. Actually laugh. This hollow sound I didn't recognize. Spent money we saved together. Used the flexibility I gave by sacrificing my career. Looked me in the face every single day and chose this. That's not wanting to me. That's not caring enough to stop. I love. Love me. I do. Love me, but are in love with Marcus. Love me, but have been planning a without me. Love me, but everyone in family knows except me. Love me the way someone loves an old comfortable chair. Useful. Reliable. Easy to ignore when something better catches eye. She stepped toward me. I stood. Don't, David, please. We can fix this. How? How do we fix 2 years of lying? How do I unknow that whole family watched me be humiliated? How do I get back the career I gave? How do I erase the fact that I'm the punchline to a joke everyone was in on? It's not like that. It's exactly like that. Know what the worst part is? I believed in us. I turned down a position at Google last year, because said needed stability, while the firm grew. I told them my wife's career was the priority, and were probably with him when I sent that email. She didn't deny it. Because she was. I'd checked the dates. The day I declined Google's offer, she'd charged a hotel room downtown. Same day, same city. While I was closing the door on my career trajectory, she was opening a door to a room where she'd betray everything we'd built. I need to leave. I said. This is my house too. Then I'll leave. I grabbed my keys, my wallet, My laptop. David, wait. We need to talk about this like adults. Adults don't have 2-year affairs with their brother-in-law while their husband sacrifices everything. Adults don't build conspiracy networks with their family to hide betrayal. Want to be an adult now? Great. Talk to lawyer. Mine will contact tomorrow. I walked out. Got in my car. Drove to a hotel near the airport and paid for a room with a credit card she didn't have access to. The only one I'd kept separate. The emergency fund I'd maintained from my consulting income, because some paranoid part of me had always believed in having a backup plan. I'd thought the emergency would be a job loss or a medical crisis. Not this. Never this. I lay on the scratchy hotel comforter and stared at the ceiling. Watched the shadows from the parking lot lights move across the textured paint. Listened to ice machines rumble and doors slam, and people living their normal Tuesday lives. My phone buzzed. 43 messages. Sarah, please come home. Sarah. I'm so sorry. Sarah, I'll do anything. I'm so sorry. I wanted to tell. Linda, let's all take a breath and handle this as a family. Jessus. I tried to stop her. I'm so sorry. Marcus, we need to talk, man. I blocked them all. Every single one. Then I called my brother in Portland. David, it's late, is everything okay? Can I stay with for a while? Of course. What happened? I told him everything. Every detail, every message, every photo, every family member who'd known and said nothing. He was quiet for a long time. Then, pack things. I'll have the guest room ready. Come this weekend and stay as long as need. Thanks, Chris. David, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry this happened to Pine. Yeah. Me too. I hung and opened my email. Started drafting a message to my old manager at Microsoft. The one who'd told me the door was always open if I wanted to come back. The one I'd been too proud to contact, because I'd built this identity around being the supportive husband who chose love over ambition. I'd chosen love. She'd chosen convenient. The hotel room felt like a coffin. Small and dark and final. I could hear my heartbeat in my ears. Could feel the weight of every decision I'd made in the last 3 years pressing down on my chest, like someone had parked a car there. I'd given my career for a woman who was giving herself to someone else. I'd believed in a marriage that was already over. I'd been the faithful one, the devoted one, the one who sacrificed. And I'd been the fool. That's the thing they don't tell about betrayal. It doesn't just in the moment. It reaches backward and poisons every memory. Every kiss becomes a lie. Every I love becomes manipulation. Every moment of intimacy becomes a crime scene where we're too trusting to notice the evidence. I wasn't just grieving the end of my marriage. I was grieving the 12 years that never actually existed the way I thought they did. My phone buzzed again. A text from a number I didn't recognize. David, this is Emma. Please don't me. I wanted to tell so many times. I'm filing for divorce tomorrow. We can be broken together. Please call me. I stared at that message for 20 minutes. Emma was leaving Marcus. Which meant I wasn't the only casualty. Which meant this was going to take out more than just my marriage. Which meant tomorrow, everyone was going to know. And somehow, that felt right. Let them all see the wreckage. Let Sarah's perfect crumble. Let Marcus lose the wife who'd stood by him. Let Linda and Robert explain to their family and friends why 2 marriages imploded under their watch. Let Jess watch her best friend face consequences. Let the architecture firm see what kind of person Sarah really was. Let them all in the fire they'd spent 2 years building. I turned off my phone, closed my laptop, and tried to sleep in a hotel room that smelled like industrial cleaner and other people's disappointments, knowing that tomorrow I'd wake and still be the man who'd given everything to the wrong person. The lawyer's office smelled like old books and broken promises. I sat across from Margaret Chen, a divorce attorney my brother had recommended. She was 50-ish, sharp-eyed, wearing a blazer that probably cost more than my car payment. She'd been taking notes for 20 minutes while I laid out the entire disaster. So let me make sure I understand, she said, tapping her pen against her legal pad. Left a senior engineering position at Microsoft 3 years ago. Took consulting work at roughly 60% of former income. Did this specifically so wife could focus on building her architecture firm without financial stress. Yes. And during this time, used savings and retirement funds to support household expenses and even her business payroll. Yes. While she was conducting an affair with her brother-in-law for 2 years, Documented extensively, with the knowledge and apparent approval of multiple family members. Correct. Margaret sat back in her chair and smiled. Not a happy smile, a predator smile. David, I'm going to be very direct with. This is the most straightforward case I've seen in 5 years. Washington is a no-fault divorce state, but that doesn't mean the court ignores context. Sacrificed career advancement. Depleted personal assets. Can demonstrate clear financial contribution to her business success. And she spent marital funds on her affair. So what does that mean? It means her getting a very favorable settlement. Possibly spousal support, depending on how her firm is doing now. Definitely a significant portion of any equity she's built in her business. Community property rights work in favor here. I felt nothing. She was telling me I'd win, and all I could think about was how I'd already lost everything that mattered. There's something else. I said. Go on. Her family. They all knew. Her mother sent messages about handling the situation. Her sister discovered it 3 months ago. They had group chats discussing it. They watched me at family dinners knowing what was happening. Margaret's expression hardened. Do have evidence of this. I pulled out my laptop and showed her everything. The group chats. The messages. The timeline. She read in silence for several minutes. This is unusual, she said finally. The level of coordinated deception. The family's active participation in concealing the affair. It speaks to character. And while Washington courts don't typically consider fault, this could be relevant in custody disputes if there were children, or in demonstrating a pattern of financial misconduct. There are no children. We were waiting until her firm was stable. Another bullet dodged. Another way this could have been worse. Margaret leaned forward. David, I need to understand something. This is going to get. Wife will likely try to claim the career change was mutual. That the business support was a marital investment. That the affair was a symptom of marital problems both contributed to. Her attorney will paint as controlling, or negligent, or somehow complicit in her unhappiness. I know. And when this goes public, because it will, people will have opinions. They'll pick sides. Some will blame for not seeing it. Some will say, sacrificed too much and made her feel guilty. People are very creative about victim blaming when infidelity is involved. I don't care what people think. Say that now. But will. When it's colleagues, friends, family. When at the grocery store and someone crosses to the other aisle. When have to explain to every new person meet why marriage ended. All care. She was right, I just didn't want to admit it yet. What do I do next? We file immediately. We document everything. We get ahead of her narrative. We make sure every financial record is preserved. And we prepare for her to dirty. Because people usually do when they're caught. I signed the paperwork that afternoon. By Friday, Sarah was served. I know because Emma texted me from a new number. She just got the papers. She's having a breakdown. Called mom screaming. The whole family is in chaos. Marcus moved out. Dad's not speaking to Sarah. Mom's trying to fix everything. It's a disaster. Thank for being brave enough to end this. I didn't respond. But I saved the message. Evidence that the perfect family was crumbly the way they deserved. My brother's guest room became my war room. I spread out 3 years of financial records, every credit card statement, every bank transaction, every receipt. I built spreadsheets tracking household expenses, business support, career opportunity costs. I calculated the difference between what I'd earned consulting versus what I would have earned staying at Microsoft, including stock options and bonuses. The number was staggering. $470,000 over 3 years. Almost $500,000 in lost income and opportunity cost. Sacrifice so Sarah could build a firm that was now worth approximately $2 million according to her business filings. I'd funded my own betrayal. Every dollar I'd given had bought her freedom to destroy me. Chris found me at 2 a.m, hunched over my laptop, eyes burning. Need to sleep. I need to finish this. David, we're going to make sick. I'm already sick. I'm sick from 3 years of being in. I'm sick from believing in someone who saw me as a resource. I'm sick from everyone else knowing, while I smiled like an at family dinners. Chris sat down across from me. This isn't healthy. Nothing about this is healthy, but at least I'm doing something. At least I'm not the passive fool anymore. We're never a fool for trusting wife. Wasn't I? Everyone else saw it. Emma figured it out. Jess tried to warn her. Even Sarah's mother knew it was wrong. I was the only person blind enough to think we were happy. Weren't blind. We're loyal. There's a difference. I's there. Because from where I'm sitting, they look exactly the same. He didn't have an answer for that. Nobody did. The messages started coming through mutual friends. Hey man, heard about in Sarah. That's rough. Let me know if need anything. Translation: I heard the gossip and I'm curious but trying to seem supportive. David, I'm so sorry. I always thought two were solid. What happened? Translation: give me details I can share at brunch. Reaching out because I heard going through something. Coffee sometime. Translation: I want the inside story. I ignored them all. But the messages kept coming. Because Sarah was telling her version. Because Marcus was telling his version. Because the family was controlling the narrative. And I was silent. Margaret called me on a Wednesday. We have a problem. My stomach dropped. What kind of problem? Sarah's attorney filed a counter petition. They're claiming the career change was mutually agreed upon. That the business support was a marital investment. That we're emotionally distant and unavailable, which contributed to the breakdown of the marriage. And they're requesting spousal support from Pawn. I laughed. Actually laughed. This broken, bitter sound that made Chris look from his own work in concern. She wants money from me. It's a negotiation tactic. They know it won't hold, but they're trying to reduce the settlement by making look like the bad guy. I have evidence. I have her messages. I have the affair documented. And they're going to claim emotional neglect made her vulnerable. That career sacrifice made her feel guilty and pressured. That the affair was a cry for help in a struggling marriage. But it's effective. Judges hear these arguments all the time. So what do? We document emotional investment. We get character witnesses. We show the court who really were in this marriage, and we prepare for her to lie about everything. I started making a list. Friends who'd seen us together. Colleagues who'd heard me talk about supporting Sarah. Family members on my side who'd witnessed my dedication. Emails where I'd encouraged her. Text messages where I'd been emotionally available. Photos of me at her business events, her presentations, her celebrations. Proof that I'd been present. Proof that I'd cared. Proof that her narrative was garbage. But even as I compiled the evidence, I knew the truth. It didn't matter. Half the people who heard this story would find a way to blame me. For not noticing. For sacrificing too much. For being too supportive, or not supportive enough. For failing to be interesting or present or masculine, or whatever quality they decided I lacked. Because people need betrayal to make sense. They need there to be a reason, a lesson, a way to protect themselves from the same fate. And the easiest way to make it make sense is to blame the victim. Emma filed for divorce 2 weeks after I did. She called me from a lawyer's office, voice shaking. I did it. I actually did it. How are holding? I'm a mess. Marcus is calling me crazy. Mom's saying I'm throwing away a good marriage over one mistake. Dad's trying to stay neutral. Sarah won't talk to me. My hole is imploding. I know the feeling. David, I'm so sorry. I should have told the moment I found out. I was a coward. We're in an impossible situation. That's not an excuse. Deserve to know. I watched at family dinners being sweet to Sarah, while I knew what she was doing. I brought food while lying to face. I'm just as bad as the rest of them. Or not. Or ending it. Or choosing. That takes courage. She started crying. Real. Crying that I could hear through the phone. I don't feel brave. I feel like everything I thought I knew was a lie. I feel like my sister is a stranger. I feel like my husband never loved me. I feel like and for not seeing it sooner. Yeah. That's about right. We sat in silence for a moment, two broken people connected by the same betrayal. Do think we'll be okay? She asked. Eventually, maybe, I don't know. That's honest. It's all I have left. After we hung, Chris asked me if I was okay. I wasn't. But I didn't know how to explain that. Talking to Emma made it worse. Because she'd been there. She'd seen it. She'd known. And even though she was a victim too, even though I didn't blame her, part of me would always remember that she'd watched me suffer in ignorance for 3 months. Part of me would never fully trust her again. Because that's what betrayal does. It doesn't just destroy the relationship that broke. It contaminates everything around it. Every friendship becomes suspect. Every kindness becomes potential manipulation. Every smile becomes a mask hiding who knows what truth. Become paranoid. Become the person who checks phone records and questions motivations and assumes the worst. because I've learned that the worst is often exactly what's happening. The settlement negotiation started in March. Sarah wanted to keep the house, keep her business without any payout for my contribution, split our remaining assets 50-50, and have me waive any claim to spousal support or future earnings from her firm. Margaret's response was elegant and brutal. Absolutely not. We countered. I wanted 60% of the house equity, 40% of her business valuation, or a lump sum equivalent, documented repayment of the retirement funds I'd used to support her, and spousal support for 2 years while I re-established my career. Her attorney called it punitive and unreasonable. Margaret called their offer an insult to human intelligence. We went to mediation in April. Sarah showed in a conservative gray suit, minimal makeup, looking small and the wronged wife, the struggling businesswoman, the victim of a marriage that just didn't work. I showed in jeans and a T-shirt with evidence binders that could crush a small car. The mediator was a tired-looking man named Robert who clearly wanted to be anywhere else. He said. Sarah's attorney spoke first. My client has significant emotional attachment to the marital home. She's willing to buy out Mr. Chen's share at current market value, split 50-50. Margaret smiled. Mr. Chen maintained the property entirely while working reduced hours to support Ms. Wade's career. He paid for renovations from his personal savings. He has documentation showing 80% of the mortgage payments came from his income over the last 3 years. 50-50 is unacceptable. They went back and forth for an hour. Sarah started crying at one point, dabbing her eyes with a tissue her attorney conveniently provided. I watched her perform grief and felt absolutely nothing. The business, the mediator said. My client built her firm from the ground. Sarah's attorney said. Mr. Chen was supportive, but the business success is entirely her achievement. Margaret opened a binder. Mr. Chen took a 60% pay to provide household stability during the business development phase. He used $47,000 from his personal retirement account to fund payroll during a cash flow crisis. He provided consulting expertise on project management and client relations. He attended business development events and entertained potential clients at personal expense. The firm exists in its current form because of Mr. Chen's financial and professional sacrifice. Sarah's attorney tried to argue. Margaret produced emails, bank statements, and business records that made Sarah's face go pale. The affair, Margaret said quietly, was funded with marital assets, hotel rooms, gifts, dinners, all charged to accounts. Wade used the financial freedom Mr. Chen provided to conduct a 2-year relationship with her brother. In law, the court will find this behavior relevant to the question of equitable distribution. The mediator looked uncomfortable. Sarah looked furious. This is character assassination, her attorney said. This is fact presentation. Margaret replied. Would like me to submit the documented messages where client discussed her affair with family members, where she acknowledged Mr. Chen's sacrifices while continuing the relationship, where she spent marital money on her paramour. Silence. We'll need a recess, Sarah's attorney said. During the break, I stood in the hallway drinking terrible coffee from a vending machine. Sarah approached me. Alone. Against her attorney's advice, I'm sure. David, please. This is getting out of control. Is it? We don't have to destroy each other. Already destroyed me, Sarah. I'm just making sure pay for it. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. But this vindictiveness isn't like Pa. Don't know what's like me anymore. Never did. We were happy once. No. I was happy, we're comfortable. She stepped closer. I know me. But I did love. I still do, in a way. Love what I did for. Love the stability I provided. Love the idea of someone who sacrificed everything while did whatever wanted. That's not love. That's convenience. That's not fair. Fair. Want to talk about fair? I gave my career. I depleted my savings. I supported Dream. And thanked me by sleeping with brother-in-law for 2 years while entire family watched me be humiliated. Don't get to lecture me about fair. Her eyes filled with tears again. Real ones this time, I think. I never meant to pry. Yes, did. Maybe not at first. Maybe it started as some impulse couldn't control. But every day for 2 years, woke and chose to me. Every time lied. Every time charged a hotel room to our account. Every time came home and pretended everything was fine. Those were choices. That was intent. I was confused. For 2 years. I didn't know how to stop. Didn't want to stop. Wanted both. The devoted husband funding, and the exciting affair making feel special. Wanted everything with no consequences. And might have gotten away with it, if hadn't been enough to upload photos to our shared cloud. She flinched. How did find them? Does it matter? I need to know. Got a notification. I was curious. And there it was. Entire double, documented in high resolution. Weren't even careful, Sarah. Didn't even respect me enough to hide it properly. She turned away. I don't know what to say. There's nothing to say. Attorney and my attorney will negotiate numbers. A judge will sign papers. And we'll both move on with our lives. Except I'll move on knowing I did everything right. And I'll move on knowing destroyed something good, because we're selfish and weak. I hope find someone better. She said quietly. I hope I never trust anyone again. It's safer that way. I walked away before she could respond. Because there was nothing left to say. We settled 3 weeks later. I got 65% of the house equity. A lump sum of $300,000 representing my share of her business. Repayment of retirement funds with interest. And 18 months of spousal support. Sarah kept the firm, the debt, and the knowledge that her family watched her get exactly what she deserved. Emma's divorce finalized around the same time. Marcus got cleared out too. Apparently. Lost the house, half his assets, and his reputation in their social circle. Sarah and Marcus tried to make it work after the dust settled. Moved in together. Told people they'd found real love. Acted like the wreckage of 2 marriages was just collateral damage on the path to their happiness. It lasted 4 months. Emma sent me a message when they split. Guess it's not as exciting when it's not forbidden. Turns out they didn't actually have anything in common except betrayal. Who knew? I didn't respond. But I saved the message. I bought a condo near downtown Seattle. Small, modern, mine. No memories. No shared spaces. No reminders of the I thought I had. I went back to Microsoft in June. They gave me a senior position, good salary, better benefits. My old manager told me I'd been missed. That my expertise was valuable. That they were glad to have me back. It felt hollow. Because I should have been there all along. Because I'd given years of advancement for someone who'd given me nothing but lies. But I showed. I did the work. I rebuilt my career. And at night, in my empty condo with its spotless surfaces, and its lack of history, I sat alone and wondered if I'd ever feel whole again. People say time heals all wounds. They're wrong. Time just makes better at carrying the scars. I ran into Sarah's mother at a coffee shop in August. Linda saw me, froze, then approached with this nervous smile. David. How are? Fine. I've been meaning to reach out. To apologize. The way things happened, it wasn't right. I should have said something. Yes, should have. I thought I was protecting my daughter. Giving her space to figure things out. I didn't realize how badly everyone was getting bought. Knew for 2 years. Linda. Had dozens of opportunities to do the right thing. Chose daughter's affair over basic human decency. That's not fair. Isn't it? Watched me at holidays. Hugged me. Told me I was good for Sarah. And the whole time knew. The whole time were part of the lie. She looked down at her coffee. I'm sorry. So am I. I'm sorry I ever thought we're a good person. I'm sorry I trusted family. I'm sorry I years of my believing in people who saw me as disposable. I left her standing there. Didn't look back. Because some apologies come too late to matter. My therapist says I'm angry. No kidding, I'm angry at Sarah for the betrayal. Angry at Marcus for the weakness. Angry at the family for the conspiracy. Angry at Emma for the silence. Angry at for the blindness. Most of all, I'm angry at the time I lost. 3 years of my, given freely, believing in something that was already rotten. 3 years I'll never get back. 3 years that could have been spent advancing my career. Building my own dreams. Living for instead of someone else's ambition. 3 years sacrificed on the altar of a love that was completely one-sided. The therapist asks if I'm dating. I'm not. Can't imagine trusting someone enough to be vulnerable again. Can't imagine believing anything anyone tells me about love or commitment or partnership. Can't imagine being the fool twice. Chris worries about me. Says I'm isolating. Says I'm becoming bitter. Says I need to let people in. He's probably right. But he didn't have his wife spend 2 years sleeping with his brother-in-law while his extended family covered it. He didn't sacrifice his career for who saw it as permission to betray him. He didn't become the last person to know about his own humiliation. So his advice, while well-meaning, doesn't really apply. I work, I go to the gym, I exist. And that's enough for now. Because the alternative is trusting again. And I'm not ready to be that twice in one lifetime.